Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today, XRP is back above the 60-cent level. Did Ripple just win the lawsuit? I just see the article right now. Look at this. This is breaking news right now. Ripple CEO predicts crypto market will double in size to $5 trillion by the end of 2024. Basically saying the overall market cap of the crypto industry is easily predicted to double by the end of the year. Why the hell would Brad Garlinghouse all of a sudden say that? I am trying to figure that out. I don't think you realize what he just said, right? People look at it and they go, oh yeah, just a prediction. Yeah. But think about what he just said. He won the lawsuit, folks. There's a settlement coming. That's what that means. Why would he even, why? Why would you say that? What do you know? What does Brad Garlinghouse know that we don't know? How the hell can it get to 5 trillion? He's talking about the Bitcoin halving, the ETF, right? Regulations. Yeah, that's great. But it ain't going to get to no 5 trillion. Not even close. We already had the ETF, right? Yeah, they're still adding and it's still climbing. That's fair, right? The halving is coming very soon, right? A lot of times we dump and go sideways after the halving, then pump, right? But there's something else. There's something else that can drastically increase, not just XRP, but all of crypto, right? I did a Bitcoin video. I haven't uploaded it yet. I just uploaded a THETA video and a THETA Fuel video talking somewhat about this. But now, this is the moment, right? I believe Brad Garlinghouse, and this is a proven fact that I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago, basically the month of April, there's a lot of court things that are going on. Brad Garlinghouse is in court, right? Talking about settlement talks, talking about things that, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. The month of April, right? He's talking about it. And then all of a sudden, he comes out and says, Ripple CEO predicts easily, remember that word, easily predicts a 5 trillion. We are not even at 3 trillion. We're about 2.6 trillion. Okay? So that would mean the market would need to rise more than 90%. The total market cap, 5 trillion. Where is that money going to go? Why is he so confident in what he's saying? Right? This is big, guys. This tells me that he knows what's going on. Because think about it. If he thought for one freaking second that he would lose and it would go to trial and it would extend for another couple years, right? If he thought for 1 second, yeah, that's a big possibility, then he would have never put himself out there and ruined his reputation, right? When Brad Garlinghouse speaks, I listen. There is not one prediction that he hasn't made that has not, that all his predictions have came true, pretty much. And the ones that haven't are still in the process of getting there. So when he speaks, big things big things happen, right? So he already knows, right? Just like when he was on the stage talking to the IMF, asking the guy from the IMF, what crypto company do you know that speaks to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the big dog, right? Who do you know? I don't know anybody. He's talking to the IMF, right? And they're buddies. He's asking them, will the IMF hold crypto assets in the future? And he goes, I can answer that. He already knows. Brad knows. And he goes, I'm from the legal department. I can't really talk about that. Because they know already. It's all part of it. Right? Brad Garlinghouse wanted them to sue Ripple. It was a blessing. Please, SEC, please sue me. Why? And then you ask yourself, see, you have little minds and you have great minds. The great minds can read the writing on the wall. The little minds, they see the headline and they think, yeah, just another prediction. Yeah, so what? But they don't look beyond the curtain. There's a meaning here, right? You know, for simpletons, it's just like the President of the United States. They don't come out and say exactly what it exactly is. No, they speak in riddles. They speak in, I shouldn't say that word, but they speak in, two different dimensions, right? Where they say something, and on the face of it, it seems like that, okay. But underneath it, it has a double meaning, right? Especially what we see here. Ripple CEO predicts 5 trillion. All of a sudden, he comes out and says that. Why didn't he say that last year? Why didn't he say that? Why didn't he wait to say that after the settlement was over? Why? I'll tell you why. Because he already knows the outcome. And he knows once Ripple wins, even if they don't win and they have to pay a fine, it doesn't matter. The point is it's over. The whole point is it being over. Ripple, right, XRP in itself is not a security. That is the law of the land. Nobody can take that away, right? So we have something incredibly special here on our and this guy right here. I mean, this guy's a beast, right? He's extremely intelligent. He knows how to maneuver himself into a position that is not just a little trickle in the stream, but rather a dent in the universe, right? The Amazon is to books as Ripple is to payments. He goes, Amazon started off doing books, but then they started doing this and this and that and this, and now they are the biggest online company in the world. And he's basically saying that's what Ripple's going to be, but for payments and more, right? You start off on payments, maybe then you go to the FX market, right? Maybe you become the neutral bridge asset. Maybe you can handle the $1 quadrillion derivative problem, right? Derivatives are all a fake scam, by the way. It's incredibly deceptive what derivatives are. They're deriving value, right? You take a piece of crap and you can derive value out of it, making it 10 times more valuable than it really is. And then they trade it, right? It's all ridiculous. But anyway, there are legitimate derivatives out there. But the problem is they're not very sustainable, predictable. A lot of them need to be tokenized. And it would make sense if they were all on a distributed ledger with interoperability, right? So that is my thoughts of Ripple XRP. Now, what does this mean for the price of XRP? Now, think about that for a minute. Just think about that for a minute. If Ripple CEO predicts the market will be a $5 trillion, then that doesn't it have to mean that they won? Because if they lost, why would he say that? Why wouldn't he wait until he had confirmation that he won? Because he already knows, but he can't come out and say it yet. He's not going to do that, right? He's not going to come out and say, we already won. It's a slam dunk, right? It's for optical reasons. He knows the outcome, right? But he doesn't want to say it yet. So here's the thing. If that's the case, and we get to a $5 trillion market cap, well, okay, what about XRP? Right? He talks about Bitcoin is the reason. That's on the face of it. People read the key points and they think that's the face. That's what it means. But there's more to it than meets the eye. See, it would be inappropriate for the CEO of Ripple to boast about XRP and talk highly and talk about price and valuations. He doesn't ask, a lot of people ask Brad Garlinghouse about price. He doesn't talk about that. It's not appropriate for him in his position to talk about XRP. That's why he doesn't mention it, right? But deep down, he knows eventually, right, when this thing is over, it's gonna skyrocket. And now we'll talk about that. So here we have the price of XRP. What is going to happen? We don't know until it happens, right? That's the old saying. But if you look at the chart, you can kind of figure out what's going to happen. Maybe not down to the exact day or minute, but you can kind of figure out based off previous price history how it likes to react. And just to summarize really quick, we have this triangle, right? We have an A, B, C, D, E, and then we go to the moon. Before we went to the moon, we had this big box in here, right? So same thing here. We have a triangle pattern. We have an A, B, C, D, E, right? And now we have this box here. So we're in this sort of area, right, where we're getting this final flush out. Maybe it's done flushing out. Maybe it is. Maybe we have a little bit more downside to go. We're going to talk about the short-term price action, but just to give you a broader perspective of what this is, a triangle A, B, C, D, E, and we go just like how it went here. Or better yet, we have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. We need that sideways to get the breakout. Same thing here. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, right? So we're waiting for that breakout. So if that's the case, then, maybe Brad Garlinghouse sees that, right? And he sees, okay, we're going to break out of this thing real soon. But I'm not going to put myself on the line because I don't know if I'm going to beat the SEC. I didn't spend $200, $300 million for no reason. We're going to beat these guys. We already have closed door discussions about settlements and things like that and how we can move along and where both sides are happy, right? And a lot of it has to probably do with pay to play, right? The SEC sues Amazon. They sue Google, they sue Tesla, they sue all the big dogs. Why? Because the SEC is a mobster and they say, hey, look, if you're going to play in my neighborhood and you're going to be a big boy, then you got to pay me big dollars, right? You're going to pay me big dollars. So we're going to sue you and you're going to have to, beat us. And if you win, great. If you lose, you're going to pay a settlement. And then you're allowed to do what you want, right? So maybe that's what's happening with Ripple. And another thing is Ripple wanted them to be sued. Why? Because it was the only way to get the judge to rule XRP was not a security. If Ripple never got sued, the Judge Torres would have never said that, would have never ruled XRP is not a security, and there would have been doubt, right? So now there is zero doubt that it is not a security. Now we have the idea that this lawsuit was a vetting process, right? If Ripple is about to assume a big role in the financial system, maybe it's a neutral bridge currency like the World Bank likes to talk about, right? Or a payments, a private crypto. Maybe it's it's part of a small money flower like Lynette Zhang likes to talk about, the gold bug, right? Maybe it has something to do with, it is cross-border payments, but something bigger than that, like the IMF likes to talk about. Maybe it has something to do with derivatives. Maybe it's everything. Because if you look at, like I said, Amazon started out with books. Look where they're at now. Ripple, you started out with payments. Where's it going? We'll see. But the whole thing is if Ripple is going to take on a role, maybe it's a specific neutral party for a role for fiat currencies, for banks, whatever the case may be, then they need to be trusted, right? They have to be trusted around the world. But how can we trust them? How? We don't know them. How do we trust them? You sue them. You sue the hell out of them. And what that means is now, Ripple is being looked at from top to bottom, just like how Trump, right? They're trying to arrest him. They're trying to sue him. Trump is the most vetted president in history. If they had something dirty on him, they would have dug it up, right? They would have went all the way back 30 years and looked at what he did, and they're looking at him like insanely, and that's what they're doing with Ripple, right? They're looking at all their financial documents, they're looking at all their connections, they're looking at all their taxes, they're looking at this, they're looking at that. They are making sure Ripple is as clean as a whistle. Now, if that's the case, that's exactly what Ripple wants. So now Ripple got one. XRP is not a security, rule from Judge Torres. Ripple got number two, the government vetting the hell out of them. It's like when you get on an airplane, they're patting you down. They're making sure you got nothing on you. Well, guess what? Cardano has never been patted down yet. Tether hasn't been patted down. BNB, right? Ethereum, for sure. ETHgate, right? They haven't been patted down. But XRP is the most patted down. So, if you're going to let one guy on the plane, it's going to be XRP. He's definitely not going to blow it up. Unlike Luna, right? Okay, well, that was a disaster. Thank God I wasn't in that coin. I just felt like something was off. Not that it was going to crash, but, if I would have got in early, I probably would have stayed in. But I didn't get in at all, right? Because it's all going too high. But if you were in that coin, I feel for you, because I've been in a similar situation with other things. But anyway, we see the price narrowing in from the demand line to the supply line. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter in here. Either it's going to die or it's going to fly. Now you can see right here, we're getting tighter and tighter, just like the last time. So now that Ripple is hopefully at the end of this lawsuit, now that, if they are going to assume this role, then that means they've been already vetted, right? They're clean as a whistle, as they like to say. So that means other entities, other banks, other whatever, now they can trust Ripple. Why? Because the SEC did all the dirty work, making sure that they're good, that they're ethically a good company, which I believe they are. Right? So now that's no question about it, right? So if they take this role, we can trust that position, right? So I'm not saying that's speculation, that's just a speculative idea. But then you add on top of that, the World Bank talking about XRP, which is insane, right? Does the World Bank talk about Dogecoin? No. So, interesting things going on with that. You have, the Ripple board member, Secretary of Treasury, right? I mean, there's just so many weird things, coincidences, right? I don't believe in them, but, there's just so many of them. And all of it adds up to be like, maybe it's like too good to be true. I would agree with that if a lot of people were on board. But here's the funny part. Now we're going to get into the interesting part. Now this is very interesting. Now hold on one sec. Okay, so the article came out, right? Everybody's talking about it. CoinDesk, then over there. They're all talking about it. What do people say about it though? Everybody's flipping out. All the people on Twitter, what do they respond? They all are mocking it. And this is what I really, really like. This is what's making me very excited right here. Check this out. When CNBC and everybody, when the news came out, CEO predicts crypto market will double in size to 5 trillion. Read the comments on Twitter. They are all laughing at XRP. They're going, they're basically, in a nutshell, they're saying, yeah, it's going to go to 5 trillion, but XRP will still stay at 59 cents. It'll still stay at 60 cents. XRP is a stable coin. XRP is an S coin. XRP is not doing anything. XRP is just staying flat. Everybody is getting complacent. That is what is needed for the opposite side of the trade to get wrecked and for the few to win, right? When people put out a poll, where's Bitcoin going first? 80,000 or 50,000. If everybody says 50,000, then chances are it's going to go to 80. If everybody says 80, chances are it's going to go to 50. It's always the opposite of what people think. So if you look at the comment section of what they're talking about $5 trillion, what does that mean? That means everybody is believing XRP is not going anywhere, right? Even people who have XRP handles next to their name, right? Like people who have XRP attached to their handle, their Twitter handle, right? Even they're complaining about it. And I'm sitting here laughing like, why the hell are you in it then? If you don't really, really, really know what you hold and you don't really, really understand how to invest, then you shouldn't be in the game. Because most people need instant gratification. They need sensationalism. They need hype. They need FOMO, right? They need that rush of adrenaline, that exit, right? Why is that? Because people are used to that. They see the meme coins. They see this. They see that. They see all these coins pump, right? And they feel like it has to be an immediate course of action. They've never invested in the stock market, because if you invested in Amazon in 1997, you would have had to wait another 5-6 years before it completely broke out, right? So if you would have just stuck with the course, you would have been a millionaire, right? So people don't like that. They like to jump around over here, over here, over here, over here. They can't handle it, right? They can't handle staying in an asset that's doing nothing, when in reality, that is the best thing that could ever happen for them and their family. Why? Because that allows them time to accumulate. Everybody has a job. Everybody has a paycheck. Everybody takes their paycheck and takes a percentage from that paycheck. They put it into crypto. Now, if XRP went to the moon on year 1, right, you wouldn't have enough time. Year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, how many years you need, right? So going back to the chart, you can see XRP has been essentially the biggest blessing in disguise for all of crypto. And I put a good video out talking about that with Dogecoin. Dogecoin is a very good example of what I'm saying here, right? You need sideways. People look at this sidewaysness, sideways, especially in here. Look at this, sideways. It's doing nothing. And people get used to that. They get complacent. That's what they believe it will always happen, right? If a football team always wins, you're expected to win. If you always lose, you're expected to lose. If XRP is at 50, 60 cents, people expect it to be there, right? But like a Bitcoin, you don't expect it to go to 70,000. You expect it to go to 80 and 90. Why? Because that's what the trend is telling you. XRP, the trend is saying, hey, we're just going sideways. But people don't understand that sideways is not a trend. Sideways is accumulation. Sideways is where you get rich. Sideways is where you look at your kids and you look in the eye and say, Mama, Dada, right? We succeeded and we did it for you, right? So at the end of the day, this whole thing is what people expect it to continue to happen. But look at this. And it's hilarious because everybody has access to the chart, so they can't see when it went sideways. People expected it, right? But in order to get this monster generational wealth move, you need to go sideways, right? And that's exactly what is happening now. And then you add to that, right? Brad Garlinghouse coming out saying by the end of 2025, so let me put that up here, right here. 2025. Right, we'll put it, that's not right. Right about there, that's fine. That's all the time we have left. So you're telling me, right? Let me go to the weekly chart. Okay, so here's the weekly chart. So you're telling me that's all the time we have. So from here to here is 5 trillion, not for XRP, the whole market, right? It's going to be spread around. But if that's the case, XRP is a top 10 coin. It is a big dog, right? It has not broken above its all-time high. It is severely suppressed. It is severely undervalued. Most coins are way above their all-time high, right? So, what is going to happen between now and the end of the year? How high can we possibly go, right? Well, I would expect the price to at least get back to the all-time high by the end of the year. That is my prediction. All-time high by the end of the year. Minimum. Now, I did make that public prediction a while ago, saying basically, I believe we can break out of here in April or May, right? So basically, we have a range down here. This is our first base, right? We broke out of that base and we created a second base that was trading above it. So we're back. This base is back testing this base. We're building layers of support. In my prediction, I don't like predicting things. I'm not a predictor. I'm an analyst, right? I change my mind based off new data. But when you look at the big macro, we're pretty much going in one direction, and that's a bullish direction, right? But essentially, what I said, I was actually responding to a comment saying, yeah, but you can say that and you can say that. If you don't tell us when it's going to be, then it's not true, right? Because you can say it's going to go up, and yeah, you'll eventually be right. But that's not the point. It's not about being right. It's about getting paid. It's about getting paid, right? And it's, about getting rich. Don't you want to be, most people in crypto want to make money. It's all about making money, right? So, timing is very hard. But I said, okay, you know what? That's fine. That's fair enough. I'll come out and I'll say, I think we can break this box between the end of May. So I'll put it right there. So we don't have much time left, right? What's the date today? The date today is what, April 8th or something? April 9th? So we'll go, probably got about 56 days or 50 days, to break out. So we got some time here. So, that was my prediction. And then my second prediction is, by the end of the year, we can be at the all-time high or breaking it. So between here and here. So I suspect the price to get up here by the end of the year. And you know what is funny? It could happen in the next 30, 60 days, honestly. Honestly. It could happen very, very fast. Very fast. So just keep that in mind. I like to be conservative with my ideas. So the end of the year is right here, right? So we need to get basically like that to make it true. So, $5 trillion market cap. I would love to do the math on that. So let's see here. If XRP is... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to... Check this out. I can figure this out. Look at this. I'm going to go to XRP.dominance. So what's the dominance? It's 1.3%. Okay. So if that's the case, by the way, I think it's going to be much, much higher than that. I think it's going to be much higher than that, especially with the lawsuit. It's going to be, in my opinion, a lot higher. So if you zoom out, there's the dominance. Look how crushed it's gotten, right? It looks like it needs a big reversal, at least up to, I would say, about 2.8%, up to 3% by the time, or even higher, right? But let's just be conservative. We'll be conservative. So you take $5 trillion, right? What is 1.31% of $5 trillion? What is 1.31% of $5 trillion?
The answer is $65.5 billion US.
Boom. So that means If XRP is 1.31%, which is totally going to be much higher than that, but on the very, very low end, that means by the end of the year, XRP will be at a $65 billion market cap, which is about double where it is now. So that brings the price at about $1.20. So right about somewhere in here, right in that zone right there. So that zone is a 65 billion. Let me make sure about that. Let me see. Let me go down. All I got to do is go to the market cap. Okay, and then I'll go to 65 billion. Where's 65 billion at? Oh, it's actually higher. Look at that. So I'm going to go right there. So that's 65 billion. But that's if XRP stays at 1.3%. What do you think is going to happen with the lawsuit in the settlement? It's going to drastically go higher. So now you're starting to see what I'm seeing here. Okay, so now let's get even more in detail, right? I don't do these quick little 10-minute XRP updates that people just get the instant gratification. They get the answer. Okay, I got it. No. You know, when you're investing real money, you got to take it seriously. And you got to look at all the details. And to me, I think XRP is going to be one of the biggest successors as far as investing goes, right? So we're looking at it hardcore. So obviously, you know, they can lose the election. They can lose the lawsuit, and we can dump, right? It's kind of like a fake out, like how it happened over here. Let me explain. This is just a Hail Mary right here. Watch this. And we're going to talk about the 65 billion in a minute. And then 1.3%. But you see how this one came up like this? And then look what happened. We broke below, which then shot us to the moon, right? So what if the price crashes to the downside? Oh, Ripple lost. They have to pay a big fine. But it doesn't matter if they win or lose. It's all about ending it. We need to end it. It needs to end. They need to figure out, they need to come to terms. Rather, if they have to spend a lot of money, they have to pay a fine, 2 billion, whatever it is, they got to pay, whatever. Right? Then the price dumps. It does the exact same thing as over here, and then bam, it goes to the moon. That could totally happen, right? So just be leery of a fake out. I mean, you can see this trend line here, right? It broke to the downside. We have the same trend line here. So always be careful. This thing could totally break to the downside. Everybody sells, but all it's doing is doing exactly what happened over here before going higher, right? So something like that. So anyway, that would be my thoughts on sort of, you know, if it takes us by surprise. So right now the market cap is 34 billion, and look at this. We're still holding. I haven't even gotten into the analysis part yet, but if you look at the weekly chart, we are still holding brilliantly over the bull market support band. But look at this. I haven't even showed you this. Look at this right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. You see what I see here? We got a cross, right? We almost got the cross. I believe the cross was a little better on Bitstamp. No, it's the same. Maybe the price pulled back a little bit. It's okay. But essentially, we're getting, by the end of the week, we're going to get that green, because we want the green to go above the red. You can see how the bull market support band is getting squeezed. So eventually this thing is going to cross over. And that's what you want for a bullish uptrend, right? So you want the green above the red. Okay, so now, let's see. Well, I'm going to get into the short-term price action, but let's go back to XRP dominance here. So again, if we're at 1.31%, so if Brad Garlinghouse is correct, and you got to take what he says seriously, because he knows, you know, it's not just some average person making a prediction. When he predicts something, it's you know, a lot of times it comes true. I don't know of any prediction that he said that hasn't came true yet. Maybe they're still in the process of becoming true, but you know, we're at 1.31%. I think, you know, by the end of the year, I'll put 2025 right there. this thing's going to reverse. Now, where does it reverse? Hard to say, but if I pull a retracement up here, and considering that's the bottom, that's about 2.95%, right? So I can totally see it getting back up to, about 3%. So let's go from there. We'll say 3%. So 3% of 5 trillion is $150 billion. And where does that get us? That gets us above an all-time high, which means if we break above the all-time high, right? I mean, that's it. We're ready. We're off to the races. All we have to do is get through these retracement levels, right? So let me put it down here. I mean, really, we need to get through 82 billion, between 82 and 100 billion. Once we cross 82 to 100 billion, it's on like Donkey Kong. I mean, we're ready to fly, right? So, 100. So if Brad Garlinghouse is right, and we get a $5 trillion market cap, and XRP is 3% of that, then by the end of the year, and I didn't even do this math yet, but by the end of the year, that gives us an all-time high, right? So let's see exactly what that price would be. It's not going to be exact, but I'll try to see if I can get it exactly. So we'll say 15%. So I'll go to XRP USD. Now it depends if you use the Binance chart, right? It's a little higher. So if I go up 15% above the all-time high, that's about $4. So, hey, I will take $4. And I believe that'll be just the beginning. If I go to the next chart, and I go to I think this one's $3.30 or so. I go up 15%, that's about $3.80. So I would say between $3.80 to $4 and some change by the end of the year, contingent on the $5 trillion and contingent on a 3% market cap. I think it's going to be way higher than that, especially if we have a lawsuit that's wrapping up. I mean, we could be at 5%, right? So what would it need to be in order? Now that's just this year. We're not even talking next year, right? So what would it have to be? It would have to be a full 4.236 extension would be 533 billion. So what percentage of that, right? So XRP would be 11% dominance, which would give it about a 500. And this is if we want, if XRP needs to, wants to hit that $10 to $13 4.236 contingent on a $5 trillion market cap, that would put XRP valuation, our market cap, the dominance at 11%. 11. Okay, so now let's take a look at the chart here. So we'll go to dominance. Where is 11%? Well, would you look at that? It's all the way up here on this move, but I'm not going to use that. That's kind of funny. So let me get rid of everything. Remember, 11%. So I'm going to go right about there. And that would totally make sense because that's where the retracement levels are. So let me pull the Fibonacci retracement here. And that's still not even at the 382, let alone, I mean, the 618 is at 20%, for crying out loud. That would put XRP at $20. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but hey, I think we could hit that. And it really doesn't matter what the percentage is. It's more about what the price, but you can kind of gauge based off, what Brad Garlinghouse is saying, 5 trillion by the end of the year. That means he knows the settlement is coming. Otherwise, if the Ripple loses, the settlement would, and they didn't get a settlement, they had to go to trial. And that news came out, it would crush the entire crypto market, right? Because the XRP Ripple case is so important. It's the most important case in crypto history because whatever happens in this court case will set the precedent for all future court cases to come involving crypto. So they really have to win. Even if you hate XRP, you want them to succeed, right? So, at the end of the day, I think even a little bit higher. I'm thinking maybe 13.7 to 14%. Now, granted, there is way more cryptos, right? If you go back over here, there wasn't that many cryptos. Now there's so much more cryptos, right? So it's harder to compete for percentage, for dominance. So, it gets tougher and tougher. But I think XRP will eventually get to that 10% dominance. Or at least, here's this move down, right? At least a retracement. What is that? About 6%? Between 6 and 11%. Somewhere in this block up here, where eventually it'll get back up here. Now, maybe that takes another couple years, regardless of that, right? So, but yeah, I think let's go back to the total market cap now. So this is the total market cap. Now I'm going to take a Fibonacci extension. I'm going to put it all the way down. And where is 5 trillion at? 5 trillion is about it's really close to the 2 or the 1.702, right? So I would say, let's see here. I would say right about in here. That's sort of his prediction, right? So let me just drag that a little bit further here. There we go. So basically, we're not that far away, really. We're, like I said, we're probably about 70 to 90%. So, and he said easily, remember that. He said easily doubled by the end of 2025. So the end of 2025 is right there. So basically, we could come down and correct like this all summer before going all the way back up. So always know that. You don't have to go into a straight line, right? We can come back up. And then, now I talk about this in my Bitcoin video. So go watch that one. I probably haven't uploaded it yet. I did record it. I'm not sure when I'm going to release it, but it'll be soon. And then, we can come up, finish that third wave, then come down for wave 4, then come up. Somewhere along here, we're going to have some sideways action. And this whole thing would be 1, 2, 3, and now we're waiting for 4 or in 4 now, and then we get 5, right? And then we get that ABC at probably the beginning of next year. I'm just going by what his example is. And then probably, by the end of, next year, maybe we get another high, right? I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I don't want to say too much, because I'm going to save that for other videos in the future. But essentially, looking at the total market cap, it looks very bullish. Still, I just don't quite know. Like, if you want more information on this, like I said, watch the Bitcoin video. I'll probably upload it. I'm gonna probably get this one out later this evening, and then the other one will be probably tomorrow, and I go into what I think is happening in here. So, but as far as that, we'll go back to XRP versus Bitcoin for a minute. This could be, like I said, maybe Wyckoff. We come up here. Now this is the spring. Now we're at that spring. Isn't it funny how, right at that spring he said that? So, this could be the moment where we get this Wyckoff here. So if that's the case, we want to see something like this and then a breakout. So if you put the ranges here, right? So a lot of coins like THETA, THETA Fuel, they're right in here, like HBAR, a lot of them are right in there. Not against their Bitcoin pairs, but in general. So go back to XRP. Now let's talk about the small time frame on XRP. So right off the bat, I see a bearish descending triangle here. Now, the interesting thing is we broke out of the descending triangle, right? So you can't really say it's bearish anymore quite yet, right? So it looks good. It looks like, okay, we got the breakout. Now let's go, right? The problem is this could be a flat. So let me show you here. You zoom in to the 1 hour. So let me see here. So we have this 1, 2, 3, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3, and then maybe we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is a 3, 3, 5, then it's probably a flat, and we have to come back down for one more low. I mean, that's one idea, right? And that would correlate sort of with a certain Bitcoin idea I have laid out. But then once that's finished, it would at that point I can see it reversing, and the reason why is because it would most likely end the E wave, right? So remember the E wave here. We have A, B, C, D, and now we're in wave E. And in wave E, you want, 1, 2, 3. The thing is, maybe we have 1, 2, 3 already, right? So like you can see right here, maybe we already have E, right? 1, 2, 3. Maybe that's it. Maybe the E wave is done and now we're ready. That could totally be the case. But always put your guard up, because it could be some kind of flat and then we come down, right? And it's some kind of, 3 wave like that before down. So then the whole thing becomes 1, 2, 3. And that finishes up wave E, right? So, and then if that's the case, and we get that 3-way pullback, so check it out. Let me show you here. Let's go to like right there. And if that's the case, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a 3-wave pullback, right? And maybe, like I said, the 3's not done. We come down, it'll be a 3-way pullback. Boom. I think that would be the big moment there coming soon. Or at least for at least to break out of this range, right? At least to get above this range in here is what we want to see. Once we do that, it's over. We need to get rid of this. We need to get above this range, right? So that's what I have for you for that idea. Now the other idea, giving it more confluence, right, is sort of the same thing here. You have A, B, C, this is D, and now we're getting E, right? And E is a triangle in itself. So we're almost done with E before the big move to the upside, right? So that's just adding to that existing idea. So is there any other ideas? Well, for me, I can see, this could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, which just adds to that other idea, which isn't really special. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Now this is a 1, 2, and we're ready to rock and roll, right? So, we sort of have to work this range out, the bottom of the range, the top of the range, right? To me, it looks like it's creating a triangle, but it also can be a 1, 2, 1, 2, potentially. If we do break it down and we go below this low, then I'm looking at it like a liquidity grab, exactly what happened last time, right? So we have this channel, right? And we come down, we break the low, we grab that liquidity, then we go to the moon. So either way, even if XRP can go down to 40 cents, I would be the biggest bull, right? Because of what happened before. If I go down back in time, right, you can kind of see kind of what happened here. Can't see it too much on this particular chart, but essentially, right, you were coming up and then we came down. We broke all of this to the downside, right? And we grabbed that liquidity. It came down and we shot right back up. It didn't last long, right? Let me take this off the screen. You can see, let me just draw this trend line right here up to here. And you can see, you know, when we lost this trend line in here, right? Even this support, we look at all, we wicked below, right? It was a liquidity grab, and that's what was needed to explode the price. So we had this channel, right? And then if you look over here, that could happen again, right? So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you know, if we break below this trend line, everybody's going to see it, right? Retail's going to see it and say, oh, we're going down, but it's actually just a liquidity grab. So that's it. That's kind of what I got for you guys here today. Again, much more on the Bitcoin video, but essentially talking about that article. I mean, you know, maybe my thumbnail or the title of the video says XRP probably just won the lawsuit, and here's why, right? XRP, or Ripple, I should say, confirmed they won the settlement, right? So I don't know. We have a bullish engulfing candle here on the 4-day chart. That's interesting. Let's look at the 2-day here. The 2-day looks good. What about the 3-day? So the 3-day candle is going to end in about 2.5 hours. So look at this. It says XRP volume skyrockets by 75%. Well, why do you think that is? Because the big dogs, the guys that really know what's going on, saw what Brad said and said, boom, that's the signal, right? Brad has all his friends, and people call him, well, when's it going to end? When's it going to end? When's it gonna end? Brad says, I'm going to give you the signal, and when you see it, you'll know what it means, right? Because he can't come out and say it because you'll be killed for insider trading. So what you do is you wait and wait and wait. Okay, we won the lawsuit. We had settlement talks. It's not, you know, it's not out in the open yet. We're still in the proceedings of the court, right? But we're in court all of April. We're talking back and forth. Boom, we got him. And he's very confident. So he comes out today and says, yeah, we're going to go to 5 trillion by the end of the year. What? Where did that come from? How is that even possible? That must mean Ripple won the lawsuit. You see what I mean? And if they didn't, then where's that 5 trillion coming from? I can't see it, right? So anyway, we have on the 3-day chart a bullish engulfing candle, right? We had this doji, we came down, we had a doji, now we have a short-term reversal. The next candle, we really want it to break out of here. So what I like about this is you have this impulse to the upside, and then you have this bull flag to the downside. So impulse and then correct, right? Sometimes it's good to get rid of all the noise and go to a higher time frame, and you can see, right? Ignore all the wicks. Just look at the structure. It looks like a bull flag, right? We're gonna go. So, man, I should have picked up some more, huh? Yeah, it's just interesting. But I think you know, we're getting a pull back here. So on the very short time frame, I was talking about the other day, like a kind of like a shoulder ahead and a shoulder, right? And then it just kind of took a little longer, then it broke out. I think we already hit the measured move of that shoulder. Let's see. Or at least close to it. Yeah, see, let me get rid of that. Almost kind of, I would say we did. We hit that measured move of this inverse head and shoulders. So maybe, you know, this could be, like I said, a flat 1, 2, and then, you know, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So the whole thing is a 1, 2, and a 3. And now we could be coming down to finish that fifth wave, right? So let me zoom out a little bit. finish that this move here. So it would be A, B, and now we're still in the middle of C. 1, 2, 3. This is 4. Then we get 5. But if 4 breaks above this high, above 63, 64 cents, and we do something like this and we backtest, and maybe that's not the case. But so far we're going up very 1, 2, 3 wave-ish. So there's always chance for us to come back down and finish that wave, and then we can get divergence between this wave and this wave. So we'll be looking for down here, right? If that's the case, I hopefully we can stay above the bull market support band and just continue to, you know, consolidate until we really have that momentum to break out, right? But, you know, the good thing is we did break above this downward resistance line. So, you know, putting it right here, you can see we have a bullish breakout here, which is interesting. So, and then another thing is as well is we have a shoulder, we have a head, and now this is rounding out. It appears to be rounding out a shoulder in here, right? So if that's the case, look how incredibly massively bullish that is. So if I take a measured move approximately and put it right about there, that gets us to about what, 91 cents? Yep, 91, 92 cents. And now we're starting to challenge this guy right here. So if we get to 91 cents, I'm pretty sure we'll break it because we don't have any more retracement levels to get through at that point. So looking for this shoulder to round out. If not, we got one more low, but I don't know. It's kind of looks impulsive here. So, but that's the thing about flats. Flats are impulsive by nature, but then they come back down. So it really depends on, like I said, what Bitcoin's going to do. Again, XRP, even if Bitcoin goes down, it looks like XRP is in this Wyckoff thing here. So what is sequential saying, by the way? Look at that. We have an 8 on the 2-day. We're about to get a 9, right? So let's go to the daily. We're going to get a 9 on the daily and the 2-day. Let's see what the 3-day says. We're on a 6. So, you know, I'm looking for that 9 coming in. And it would make sense from a Wyckoff perspective for it to be in that spring, right? So here's the Wyckoff. It's a different schematic, but it's the same thing. By the way, if you can, please like the video. You know, I think this video is a really good broad outlook for XRP, and I would really appreciate if you give a like and leave a comment. I really want this one to reach some people here, especially my understanding of everything that's been going on, right? Especially the news today that we got. I mean, I think it's good news, right? So it definitely is an interesting structure, right? So a regular Wyckoff is like this, where we have this, and then we come down, we break the low here, and then we go. So 1, 2, 3, we come down, right? We break the low. Hopefully this thing goes. And I'm sure, let's see, 2-day chart. There's probably bullish divergence on some of these higher, or actually let's go to the daily here. Yeah, you can see it, right? The RSI is trending up, price is trending down. So, and we're on an 8, and the 8 is a doji. So this thing looks like it's going to flip around. I mean, I don't know. If I'm holding Bitcoin, I would probably take a chance. Not financial advice, but I think this could be that spring, potentially that spring in there. If not, then I would say one more low, and that would finish it. Because if you look at this thing, we have completely a 5-wave move, right? We have 1, 2, all of this is 3, this is 4, and then maybe we get 5. But I'm thinking 5 is already in. If not, we have one more low to go. So maybe this was just a preempt. This is just a fake Wyckoff before we get that dump, before we get that big pump. But I think any way you look at it, we're really, really close. So looking at the price of Bitcoin, A, B, C, D, E, go. Or A, we come up for B, then we come down for C, then we go, right, in this flat here. Or is it like a ascending triangle? I'll talk a lot about that on the Bitcoin video. I just wanted to point it out there. Brad Garlinghouse predicts. Look at all these top stories. And then look at this. You have CNBC, you have Crypto Potato, Daily Coin, investing. I mean, look at all the Forbes. Look at this. Ripple CEO issues a shock $5 trillion. I mean, look at this. You have CoinGape. I mean, it's all over the place. Why do you think he came? Why all of a sudden today? Why today? Why did he say that today? Because he knows. He knows what's coming. Anyways, that'll do it for this video. If you guys can, that would be amazing if you can hit that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. And also, maybe consider supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. And I believe, we got some big things happening this month and next month. So it should be interesting. So anyways, I also have the super thanks button up there on YouTube now. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Let me know in the comment section, by the way, what you think about everything. Do you think, that statement Brad said, it means anything? What are you guys thinking right now? And not just for XRP, but for the whole market, really. So anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.